So the miracle of the YouTube comment section kicked in again yesterday. I shared some ideas last night or yesterday with what I was thinking about, and one of the things was ditches in the river or open dams to collect water. And that was comments made by plenty of people that I should do something like that. And only after I mentioned it yesterday, people started saying, it might be a waste. Why don't you just harvest the water once it went into the ground? Spend a lot less money, have a lot less evaporation. And so that is a valid point. As I pointed out yesterday, I'm not going to make any fast moves on either of those projects now. But it is very interesting to see how many people suggest we rather put the water in the ground and then harvest it via a borehole. 10,000 liters in a borehole is not that much every day. It's less than a cube an hour, which is very doable for our, well, not very doable, but it is definitely doable for our area, borehole wise. Adding loads and loads of water to the ground will then make that better. You can see how the birds just devastated the last areas of planting here. There they are running, the guinea fowl. So these were just seeds that we wanted to get in the ground, not necessarily have a harvest. But you can see there guinea fowl running. This probably did all of this just this morning. You can see there's a lone survivor every year and there. But they really did a good job turning this land upside down. See all of the little pits that they dug. Yeah. Wow, this is incredible how much damage they did just in the morning. You can understand why the farmers killed them, because if this was my livelihood and this is what I had to feed my children, and this would have been a whole year's worth of work wasted. Every single piece of seed we put in here has been taken out. Every single one. See there. Those guys are even worse than the guinea fowl. Okay. That just happened. Another interesting comment that I would love to answer is, what is your plan? How much do you want to water? What do you want to plant? How much do you need of this and that? What is the long-term strategy for the land? You'll have to excuse my little bit of hair there. I didn't put on my makeup yet. Long-term strategy for the place is basically a permaculture park. Showground where you can show what permaculture can do, but it is a place where people can come and sit and spend a day, walk through, read the little signs on the trees saying this is such and such tree, medicinal uses of this, grows in companion with this, like a little permaculture info sign on different trees walking through the park. Interwoven between that will be things like putt-putt, a game, trampolines for the kids, maybe a basketball court, kids paradise, that's what I would like. Maybe a bicycle track with a little bit of jumps and a little bit of niceness. Basically a kid's paradise. Then tucked into the bushes and the trees and the things like that. And I say tucked in because I saw that humans have got a space in which they feel comfortable with. So if you make a little nook tucked in between the trees and things like that. Look at this. This must be a... I'm not sure actually whether that's a ripped line and swallowed all of this water, or whether that's a termite hill that was maybe ripped into and then swallowed all the swell's water. Tucked in between the trees, these little camping sites, day camp you can almost say, where families can come and they can make a little barbecue under the trees. Say for instance here, this was our very first camping site on the land many years ago. We pitched our tent there. Ben made his very own fire all by himself here when he was 3 or 4. No, like Dano made his very first fire here when he was very small by himself. But anyway, tucked in between the trees you would then have little camping sites where families can come and spend a day and then harvest fruit from the trees, whether they pay a day rate and they can harvest what they can eat during the day, or whether you ask them to bring everything to the front and then measure it and weigh it and charge them for that. A system where they can physically get the trees from the fruit or the vegetables from the garden. Then tucked in between all of this, because now when you have so many people on the land, everything becomes zone 1. You would have things like chicken coops and a goat pen and even a place for a cow, where the cow can stand and you can milk. It will not be a dairy, either cattle or goats, but you would milk and show children how to milk. It would not be an egg farm, but there will be eggs, and you can show children how to collect eggs. You could have smaller things like hamsters, etc., guinea pigs and rabbits, to show people how those things work. You can have a rabbit farm, not completely on commercial scale, but big enough so you can harvest rabbits for it. Maybe have a breeding stock so you can move the breeds into Namibia, meat breeds into Namibia, where there's not enough rabbit breeds, good rabbit breeds in Namibia. You can do that. You can do the same with the goat and the sheep and the cattle that you have. Make them expensive animals so that you can breed on a very small scale even, and then have that bloodlines go into Namibia. The same with chickens. You can use, instead of normal chickens, use rare and strange chickens and breed them and have those bloodlines infiltrate into Namibia. So instead of going big and cheap, you go very expensive, small scale animals. So you have this park where people can learn about the different species of trees. In the same time, they can sit at the restaurant, buy some food from you. They can learn, they can harvest for themselves that they can take home or cook in their little camping sites. And then once you have all of that infrastructure up here, you can do training days of people coming to visit your farm, and you physically have a guide showing them around, explaining how the water structures work, explaining them how an African smile works, where all of this water is coming from. It's just not simply not there, just, you know, that it's not just a blessing from God, but that we actually put in some work to harvest it and make it work. Later on, depending on how the town moves into our area, because it is moving this way, you would either scatter little houses in the area and give them private access to the land, or private access to certain parts of the land around their own areas. We have 6 hectares. That's about 600 normal erven in town. That's I just need to get my math correct, but I think it's 600,000 squares. So if you have 1,000 square erf in town, it's quite big. So you can have 600 of those on here, but you can make them smaller. You can have a 500 square erf and put a house there. But depending on how the town progresses and how the town comes into our area, you can put offices, so people can have in their lunch break, they can walk out into the forest and spend time there, so it's becomes like an office park. Okay, so that's just going to be my morning rant. I'm not going to go into anything further, but that's what I want for the property. I will make a video now of what we're doing throughout the day, and that one then will get published late tonight, depending on the editing, etc. See you a bit later today.